This video is sponsored by MPB. Hello everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to Ross Niger here in Anglesey. I say back to because I've shot here a lot in the past, and I think it's one of my favourite places in the world to shoot, to be honest, even on a day like this. And I say even on a day like this because summer, middle of the day, sun out, is not the best time to shoot, according to many photographers. I know lots of my friends who don't really shoot all that much in the summer, regardless of the time of day, because even sunrise is super early and sunset is super late, so they sort of just write off summer. But days like this, I love shooting, and I just adjust whereabouts I come to shoot. I typically end up coming to small little towns like this because even though the shadows are harsh, they tend to be more uniform when you've got buildings and stuff around, and therefore just noticing them and practicing noticing compositions, I think is a pretty good thing to do as a photographer, and practicing holding your attention rather than always thinking, oh, I should go for a coffee. Oh, I should go for an ice cream. Is it lunchtime yet? That in itself I find to be good practice. So yeah, I like shooting days like this, and I'm absolutely not going to get any portfolio photos today, I don't think. But yeah, I have fun walking around with a camera in the sunshine. So basically what I'm saying is, if you tend to write summer off, maybe give it another chance. Come to small little towns, they don't have to be by the seaside, and just pay attention to things like shadows, and it's good practice. Tell you the truth, I did go and get a coffee. 2 coffees. No ice cream yet though. It's only 2:10. I do have time. It's funny, as you can see, I've come out of the town. I'm now in and amongst the dunes north of the town, and immediately I find myself in a spot where you think, well, yeah, there's no way you would come out with your camera in the middle of summer to a place like this. It looks nasty in this light, but pick your location well, and you can have, as I'm having, one of my favourite days of the year so far, out with a camera. I don't know that the photos reflect that, but I'm having fun attempting to concentrate on my photos. And that's kind of the point I find most of the time. Enjoy the process, not the result. The fun is in the chase. I suppose it sounds quite defeatist, doesn't it, to head out with a camera and with a mindset that on that day I'm probably not going to get any portfolio-worthy photos, or any good photos for that matter. And it's not the sort of mindset I'd recommend harvesting if you think that your motivation to take photos will be affected by that. You know, if you think, well, I'm going out today, I don't think I'm going to get any good photos, and therefore I'm not going to use my camera that much, or I'm not even going to take my camera, obviously that's not a fruitful mindset for a photographer. But for me, I find a lot of the time that when I go out with no hope or expectation, it sort of just releases the shackles, and I'm still motivated to take photos, but I just think a lot more about the process rather than the result. So I'm thinking about how I'm interacting with my camera. I'm just trying to notice stuff, and I'm trying to not eat ice cream and sort of just stay present in the process, which is at least half the battle. And yeah, I really enjoy days like that. And there were some photos that I quite like, sort of elements of, that I took that day. This one, where it looks like the digger is just attacking the wall and therefore the car, I did quite like. And if the car had been anything more interesting than a Range Rover, I would have stayed at this scene longer trying to perfect it. What do I mean by that? Well, there are a couple of things I don't really like. There's a lamppost sort of just above the car that is intersecting, or the top of it is intersecting with the cloud line. Don't like that so much. There's also a post next to it where the same thing is happening. Slap bang in the middle of the frame, there's a chimney in the background that's sort of been cut off by one of the tree branches. And I wonder if going forward a little bit might have solved that. And that might have also fixed the posts interacting with the cloud line. And then on the far right, there's another chimney at the top of which has just been sort of, well, is it intersecting with the cable, or is it just very close? Very close, I think. Too close for comfort, but I'd like to how to play around with that too. And like I say, I would have stayed at this scene for a while had the car been more interesting. But I think there are elements there of something really quite strong, and the light was beautiful. This one also has elements that I really quite like. The framing of this I think is pretty strong. You've got the silhouette of the mountains in the background, sort of just above the wall, and then the spacing of everything in the foreground I quite like too. So you've got this fire hydrant sign on the right hand side. Obviously then you've got this busted up goal, and then the chairs, and then the flowers. And one of my favourite things at the moment about shooting these letterbox crops is when you can just sort of chop stuff off at the top of the frame. And for me at least, it sort of then makes me ask questions of the scene. How high do those posts go? What does the top of them look like? I just find it's good for harvesting curiosity. Now the couple of things that stop this being a portfolio worthy scene for me are the goal is kind of busted up, and it would have been better had it been smaller and had it not risen above the wall line. And in fact the ideal actually would be to have a goal sort of just painted on that wall. And then I was thinking that I might like the power cables to be removed as well. But if the goal was cleaner and the cables weren't interacting with the goal, then maybe not. I don't know if you can see, but the power cables sort of lead into the wall and then a massive crack in the wall. And had the goal been smaller, or like I say, just painted onto the wall, that might have looked quite dramatic. This one I think shows the importance, at least for me, of practice and practicing when the stakes are low. I really quite like this scene, but I've butchered it, I think, by not noticing this window that I've sort of semi-chopped off in the background. I just think that looks messy. I think it looks clumsy. And what I probably should have done is move 2 yards to the left to just chop that window out entirely. Anyway, it's time to talk about camera bags. I think I've got a bit of a camera bag problem. I went around the house the other day collecting bags from sort of wardrobes and various other miscellaneous places. Bags that I don't use anymore and therefore I need to get rid of. I need to sell them, they need to go to charity shops. And I got them out to clean them up, give them a hoover for that process. And it got me thinking about those bags, but also the probably, I don't know, 30 other bags that I've had, sold, got rid of over the years. And that equates to, yeah, I don't know, probably about 45 bags that I don't currently use. I've got another half a dozen or so that I do currently use. So let's call it 50 bags that I've used over the years. Hello, Future James here. Sorry for the interruption. 50 sounded way too much. So I've tried to think about exact bags that I've had and sold, and then I've done some questionable maths to add some on. And I think the total number of bags I've ever had is probably more like 32, 33, not 50. I mean, 32 camera bags is still ridiculous, but it's not quite 50. Yeah. And what the use of all those bags has taught me, what it's culminated in, is this sort of realization that nowadays, at least, I rarely need a camera bag. Occasionally I do, if I'm making a video out in the field and I need to be able to put my video equipment away. I'll talk about that in a minute. But for the most part, for exclusively photography, I don't need a camera bag. What I need is a camera accessory bag. And in short, that's because if I'm out of my house and out of my car, I don't really want my camera being in a bag. I want it out on my person so that it's ready for me to take photos. So my camera bag, or my camera accessory bag, doesn't really often need to fit my camera in it. And so about 7 or 8 months ago, I think it was, when these bags were announced pretty much, I bought this Peak Design 2-litre outdoor sling. And it's great. It can fit some batteries in it, some money in it. It can fit little video cameras in it. This is a Pocket 3. And by the way, this camera's got a little
little thing on it so I can stand it up, and also on the back it's got a magnet so I can just attach that to anything magnetic, and I can do talking to camera without the need of a tripod. If you followed this channel for a while, you'll know that I absolutely hate tripods, so that's perfect. But yeah, this bag can fit that in, a tiny little tripod for when there's nothing magnetic around or it's not a flat surface. There are times where I'll also take out an action camera. This is an Action 5 Pro, a couple of microphones and maybe a neck strap for the action camera, perhaps. But that is basically all I need most of the time when I'm going out to do a little bit of photography. But the problem with this 2-litre bag is that even though it fits everything I need in it, it's a bit of a faff to get things out if they're at the bottom of the bag, because it's all quite cramped. So I bought the same bag, but the 7-litre version. And the beauty of this is that it can actually fit a camera in it, my camera in it, should I need to when I'm cycling. This bag also comes with a stabilizer strap, which is fantastic for cycling. And yeah, this bag fits everything I need, plus my camera and a bit more. So it's great, but sometimes it's just a bit big if I don't need to put my camera in it. So then, a couple of weeks ago, Roman was telling me that Peak Design had released a 4-litre bag. And basically it's absolutely perfect. I should say I bought all of these bags, but this 4-litre one is actually perfect. It's my perfect camera accessory bag. You'll see I've blacked out the logo with a marker pen. I don't like logos. I've also changed the zippers, and also a couple of times I've used the 7-litre strap with this bag because it's thicker. But yeah, apart from that, I love this bag. I also normally stick an ND filter in the little back magnetic pocket here, but I don't know where that is. Just for video, I don't use that for photos. Anyway, yeah, I have a lot of questions typically about camera bags, and this is the one that I'm using at the moment. I'd be tempted to say this is the one that I'll use for years and years to come, but I've said that before, then ended up changing. But I love this bag. Not very padded, but as a consequence, it's very light and very form-fitting, which I appreciate. Now, there is a scenario, sadly, where I do still take a backpack, and lo and behold, this is the Peak Design Outdoor 26-litre, I think, backpack. Most comfortable backpack I've ever bought. Look at the size of the padding on these straps. But outside of that, the bag is super minimal. It's got a big giant hole in the middle of it for a packing cube, and not much else other than these side carry things that are good for tripods. And this basically I use when I'm out mountain biking, or perhaps if the weather's bad and I want to take a full video setup with me, which is a full-size tripod and a Sony camera to do some filming. Having a backpack with me on those days basically gives me the opportunity to put that stuff away if I don't want it out all the time. But aside from that, and aside from when I'm traveling and mountain biking, I use the slings. More often than not, I use the 4-litre. Unless I'm on my bike, when I use the 7-litre. Unless it's my mountain bike, when I use this. I hope that's clear. What's happened here? How long's that been like that? Just realised I should have done like a Russian doll thing with the slings. So if the 7-litre's too big, basically what's happened is I've spent all my money with Peak Design. So hopefully you don't have to. Big thank you to everybody who has bought a print, by the way. There are still 3 weeks left on the photograph from France, the French Alps, for that to be half price. So definitely pick one of those up if you fancy it. But otherwise, a giant thank you for watching. And a thank you also to the sponsor of this week's video, MPB. So if you're in the market for any photography equipment, be it cameras, lenses, bags, tripods, filters, teleconverters, grips, whatever it might be, check out MPB before you buy to see if you can buy used and save yourself hundreds, if not thousands. Now I'm looking at my kit shelf now, and I reckon 60% of my kit has been bought used through MPB. And the 40% that wasn't, it was just because it was new and not available used yet. And you can buy used on MPB without any of the risks typically associated with buying used, because they have experts checking and rating the kit before any of it goes on their site, and everything comes with a warranty too. So if you're in the market for a new lens, new camera, whatever it may be, definitely check out MPB first. Links in the description. It's also a great place to sell kit as well. The bags that I've got will probably end up going to MPB. If you want to sell kit to free up some cash to MPB, you can just get a free quote online instantly. And if you're happy with the quote, they'll arrange for a courier to come to your house, and then once they have the kit, they'll pay you very quickly. Brilliant service. So yes, thank you to MPB for their continued support of this channel. Thank you to you for watching, and hopefully it was useful or interesting. Or both, hopefully. See you next time. Cheers.